So thank you so much. I'm Paige. I'm an alcoholic, and yes, all of you guys be safe. I didn't realize until we were talking that there was a storm. And gosh, Stephanie, it's been a stressful one for you today with the Androids not working and the storm. And oh goodness. So welcome. I'm Paige. I'm an alcoholic, and I'm glad you're all here. And one of the things that I like to do is I like to share my experience, strength, and hope in a format that's known as the Big Book Bounce Around. Now, if you're like, I have never heard of that format before, it's because I made it up. And so if you have your book to hand, please grab a hold of it. And if not, don't worry. I'm going to do all the reading. I'll even do a little screen sharing. We're not going to be doing too much bouncing, although I shouldn't make promises I can't keep. So if you have your book, grab a hold. Let's dive into the doctor's opinion. And where we're going to be going is XXVIII. And I don't have a great way to find it. It's like you find the first page of the doctor's opinion, flip the page, it's there on the left. It's also Roman numeral 28. That's just a little fun fact if you're like, ooh, I wanted a fun fact as I'm scrambling to find the page of the book. I know you did not. That's okay. All right, so doctor's opinion, XXVIII. And where we're going to go is we're going to go to the very bottom paragraph, right where it says men and women drink. Now, if we're going to get a little fun and funky, if you want to write in your book, I mean, it's your book. If it's somebody else's, don't write in it. You feel free to cross out the words men and women and write alcoholics. Because we're not talking about regular run-of-the-mill people. We are talking about alcoholics. So alcoholics drink, essentially because they like the effect produced by alcohol. And you see, I don't know about you, but I am an alcoholic, and I am a relief-seeking missile. You see, what I am after is this. You guys know what I'm saying? I take a drink and I experience my shoulders. I was wearing them as earrings. They begin to fall. You know, it's like, oh, I'm comfortably numb. I'm okay. It's like I can fit and be okay in my own skin. See, I take a drink and I get a solution for life. And if we're in Philly, it probably feels like what happens when Philly wins the Super Bowl. You know, go Birds. I don't know. I'm trying to play to the crowd. Feel free to be like, we don't care about sports. I won't mention the Phillies. It's fine. But that feeling of ease and comfort and relief and release. You see, I take a drink and I get a solution. I get an answer. It is the missing piece. It is what I was looking for my entire life. Did you know non-alcoholics don't experience that? I don't know what happens to them, but they take a drink. Maybe they get a little fuzzy. I don't know. But they don't take a drink and they don't get a solution. It goes on to say, the sensation is so elusive, and that sensation is that feeling of ease and comfort. And to be elusive is to be just out of grasp, that sense that I can't quite hold on to it. It's so elusive that while they admit it is injurious, they cannot after a time differentiate the true from the false. And what that means is that I know that alcohol is hurting me. I know that alcohol is ruining my life. Man, I know that I'm crossing lines in the sand I said I would never cross. I know that I'm doing things I never wanted to do. I know I'm hurting people I never wanted to hurt. I know I'm betraying trust that meant everything to me. I know I do not want to drink again. But when I'm sober, I have a thought. And that thought tells me a lie, and I believe the lie. You see, I am unable to differentiate the true from the false. What is true is that once I start to drink, I can't control the amount that I take. But what is false is this time will be different. Nobody will ever know. I'm just going to go out for 6 drinks. Or you know my problem? It was drinking with Canadians. We're in Philly. There's no alcoholics here. I have never heard such an appalling thing. Absolutely not. Like a Flyers fan drinking too much? Absolutely not. Never heard of that, right? Or it looks like a thought that is on me all day that says, take a drink, 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 until what little willpower I was able to muster is inevitably eroded away, and I take that drink. Now that thought also just as much looks like a case of the suddenlies. I'm out there, I'm living my life, and suddenly I have a drink in my hand and I almost do not know how it happened. It looks like I'm going to kill myself anyway so I don't get drunk. It looks like if you were feeling the way that I was feeling, you'd have to drink too. It looks like, man, I better go on a big bender. I'll have a good surrender. It rhymes. I just haven't hit my bottom. I got to get it out of my system. It is a lie that I have when I am as sober as I am today, but my illness is untreated, that takes me back again and again and again to the first drink, despite the fact that it is ruining my life. And it says to them, their alcoholic life seems the only normal one. You see, when I got here, I did not know what was wrong with me. And I'll be honest with you, when I came to Alcoholics Anonymous, I was kind of hoping it was a series of unfortunate oopsie-doopsies and whoopsie-daisies, which is the clinical term, that led me hanging out in like church basements and community halls with you lovely people. And I just thought, it's random happenstance that I'm hanging out and we're having the coffee with the creamer that won't stir in no matter how hard you try. We all know that one, unless you guys got fancy creamer over there. We don't. And, I would do this thing. Now it is a thing that I know you guys in Philadelphia, you would never do this, but I did this. And it's a thing called judging the speaker. I know you guys would never do a thing like that. Not you guys. But I would do it, and I would listen to some jerk like me natter on and come out of the book and gross. And I'd think, whoa, I'm not as bad as her. She's got to have a bad strain of this whole alcoholism thing. I'm not like her. But then the very next person would share. And I think, whoa, I'm not as bad as that guy. And I was looking for all the ways I didn't fit in, all the ways I wasn't like you, all the ways I didn't have this thing. But I'm going to share with you a little secret. I desperately wanted to belong at the same time. And if you're like me, you know what it's like. I want to be absolutely nothing like you because I don't want to have to do what you do. But I want to be a part of, because I never felt a part of anything in my life. I felt separate from everything my entire life. And I didn't know what was wrong with me. I came to Alcoholics Anonymous with a whole lot of andas. I'm an alcoholic anda. And let me tell you, I came with buckets of yeah buts. I might have a drinking problem, but but he's worse than me, or but I'm young, or but have you seen my mental health? That's disastrous. But. And again, all the ways I wasn't like you, and I did not know what it meant to be an alcoholic. I did not know what it meant to have this illness. It goes on to say they are restless, irritable, and discontented. And if you were to talk to me when I first came to Alcoholics Anonymous, well, to be honest, I was doing everything in my power to avoid any such conversations. I was showing up late. I actually didn't like showing up late, but I loved leaving as prayer done, off I go. Please don't talk to me, because I was desperately afraid that you would ask me a question that I didn't have the answer to. Like, how's it going? Just a real, stumper. That one, I got no answer for that. And, but if you were to ask me, Paige, what is your problem? And you were to peg me down and corner me and be like, what is your problem? I would have said, well, it's obviously alcohol. This is Alcoholics Anonymous, is it not? But if you were to say, Paige, when do you feel restless, irritable, and discontent? I would have had to tell you that is how I feel when I am sober. It is when I am sober that my skin doesn't fit. It is when I'm sober I have that depression so bad I can't get out of bed. It's when I'm sober that I have that anxiety where it feels like somebody is stabbing my shoulder blades. It's when I'm sober that I feel suicidal and hopeless and empty and lonely and the world is too much, man. It feels like I'm a raw exposed nerve ending and for some ungodly reason the wind is blowing, and that is how I feel sober. And of course, it's the doctor's opinion, so it is a doctor writing it. The patient appears to be a little restless, irritable, discontent. I'm dying on the inside. Now, I cannot diagnose my alcoholism based on my restless, irritable, discontent. But you see, I got here and I thought you all put down the bottle and you were happy, joyous, and free. Just happy to be here, happy to be sober, woohoo! And I wasn't. And I thought I thought because I put down the bottle and I got worse, I thought that meant I wasn't like you. But I did not know that you had taken a course of action. A course of action that brought an awakening in your spirit that allowed you to live in a sober and contented state. You see, the spiritual malady is not limited to alcoholics. I really wish I had looked up some of the highways in Philadelphia. I would have been like, you'll find them on the I-95. I don't think that's the I-95 that goes anywhere near you. Oh, maybe it does. Maybe it does. Yeah. Does it? Oh, I feel real good. I mean, however this talk goes from here on out, and let's be real, from here on out, it's all downhill, but I got I-95. Yeah, baby. But you will find some spiritually sick people on that one. You know, you'll go to your HOA, your PTA, you will find some spiritually sick people. But if you're here today and you relate to that feeling of restless, irritable discontent, the feeling that life and the world is too much, that feeling like you don't fit, a loneliness that pervades you, what I want you to know is that is what we treat in Alcoholics Anonymous. That is what we treat. And we treat that, spoilers, with a spiritual awakening. And how we get that is through the actions of the 12 steps. So restless, irritable, discontented, and that is how I feel when I am sober. And it says, unless they can again experience a sense of ease and comfort, which comes at once by taking a few drinks. And I don't know about you, I will sell my soul for that sense of ease and comfort. And that's what I'm after. You see, I have an illness, and that illness is alcoholism, and my illness demands treatment, and it will be treated whether I want it to or not. And I will either treat it with a spiritual awakening or I will treat it with a drink. I have an illness that demands treatment. I need to find a sense of ease and comfort, and I'm either going to do it through the bottle or I'm going to do it through the rigorous course of action that is outlined in this book. And it says once they've drinks which they see others taking with impunity. Impunity is those normal jerks. And if you're wondering, what does it mean to drink with impunity? I will give you a snapshot. It looks like, honey, sweetie, Pookie Pie. I'm never good with pet names. I'm going to go to the bar. I'm going to have 3 drinks. I will be home by 9. And do you know what they do? It's wild. It's wild, you guys. They go to the bar. And they have 3 drinks, and their pants are dry, and they're home by 9, and their pants are dry, and they got both their shoes, and they're with the person they're supposed to be with. You know what I mean? And they're at the house, they're not gone for 3 days. They didn't stop off at an ATM. They're not doing non-conference approved dry goods in the bathroom. They have 3 drinks, and they're home by 9. You see, alcohol does nothing to them, and it does nothing for them. But that's not my experience. My experience is this. After they have succumbed to the desire again, see, I take that first drink, as so many do, and the phenomenon of craving develops. Now, that phenomenon of craving is what happens to me as soon as I take that drink, that thing inside of me that tells me more. And the more that I drink, the louder that more gets. You see, I need that next drink far more than I needed that first. You see, my first drink demands a second. My second drink insists on 4. My 4th drink will not relent until I've had 8. And that 8th drink is screaming at me until I've had 16. And so on and so forth. And because of that, I pass through the well-known stages of a spree. A spree is any length of time that I'm drinking. It says emerging remorseful. You see, the spree inevitably comes to an end. And I come to filled with that guilt and that shame and that remorse and that self-hatred and that self-pity. I can't stand who I am. I can't look myself in the eye. I can't believe the things that I've done. And that fuels me to say, I'm never going to drink again. And that is our firm resolution not to drink again. And the hallmark of what makes me an alcoholic is that I have said that again and again and again with varying severity, but I have said that again and again and again and again and again, and I meant it. But to have alcoholism means that it has absolutely no effect. my need to stay sober, my desire to stay sober, has no ability to keep me sober. It goes on to say this is repeated over and over. And I'll throw it and over and over and over. And I asked Daryl, so thank you, Daryl, for giving me a screen share. Because what this is a cycle. And we can take the words on the page and we can draw them out. And we can see that what happens to me is I come out of that spree and I emerge remorseful. And with everything that is in me, I say that I am never going to drink again. And I mean it. And I'm thrust into the spiritual malady. It is me on me, and there is nothing that I can put between me. And eventually that gets painful enough that I get a thought. And that thought happens when I'm sober that tells me I can drink again. This time will be different. Nobody will ever know. I got to get it out of my system. And I believe that lie. And off I go. I take that first drink. I experience that sense of ease and comfort. And that allergy takes me. And I need another, and I need another, and I need another. And I go on that spree and I burn it to the ground. You see, on that spree, I cross those lines in the sand I said I would never cross. I do those things I said I would never do. And I come to filled with that guilt and that shame and remorse. And I say, I'm never going to do it again. And you see, the more times that I go through this cycle, I believe the stronger the pain is in that spiritual malady. I can't tell you that's what it is. But the stronger the obsession of the mind gets. And we can hold our own experience up to that light. Do I know what it is like to show up to places like this and say, I'm never going to drink again? I'm able to get 6 months and then I go out. And then I get 6 months and I go out. Then I get 3 months and I go out. And I get 2 months and I go out. And by the time I'm going through this cycle, I can't make it a week. Can I relate to that? And you see, when we talk about, and I don't have a lot of time to talk about 2 and 3. I did not do well at managing my time, but I do have an eye on it. When we talk about step 1, what makes me an alcoholic is the obsession of the mind and the allergy of the body. That is what makes me an alcoholic. And the allergy of the body means that I can never drink again. Because once I start to drink, I cannot control the amount that I take and I burn it to the ground. But the obsession of the mind means I will drink again. And if I can hold my experience up to this, and I can remember those times where I said I wasn't going to drink again. Maybe I got out of the hospital, got out of the jail cell. Maybe I promised my loved ones, my spouse, my partner, my mom, my family. Maybe I came to AA. Maybe I went to detox. Maybe I went to treatment. Maybe I got out of the psych ward, right? And I said I'm never going to do it again. And I've had those examples, and I've drank again. What I can do is I can hold myself up to this experience. I can see that I am this, that I have this. This is alcoholism. And it is a cycle. So if I have this, it is not a matter of if I drink again, but when. And that is step 1. Step 1 is not that I can never, ever safely drink again. Step 1 is that I can never, ever safely drink again, and I will. A relapse is inevitable and is imminent. It is happening, and it's always going to happen sooner than I think it is. I always think I got more time. This is step 1. If I can see this in my life, if I can see that I am going to drink again, that's my step 1 experience. And it says it is repeated over and over and over and over and over and over. And many of us know what that is like, to be on this spin dry of misery and over and over and over and over. And it says, and once this unless, so I am absolutely doomed to drink again if I have alcoholism, unless this person can experience an entire psychic change. The word psychic means of mind and soul. And what I need is a change of my mind and of my soul. And that is a spiritual awakening, a spiritual experience. And that is the solution that we have in Alcoholics Anonymous. And step 2. So step 1, very simply, is I'm going to drink again and I don't want to. Because I got the obsession of the mind. I got the allergy of the body. I'm doomed to drink again. Step 2 is simply about believing, does a spiritual awakening exist? Doesn't matter what I think about the God word. Doesn't matter any of that. It does. All that matters is, could a spiritual experience exist? You see, I come to meetings like this with people like you, people who have recovered. The light is on in their eyes. There's a hope in their spirit. Man, they drank the way that I drank. They felt the way that I felt. Man, they know what it is like to go through the utter hell that is active alcoholism, and they are free. They are free, and they are sober, and they are happy, and they are wonderful people. And all I need to do is to believe that they are not lying about their experience. That's step 2. Could it exist? It's a little like me saying, step 1 is, if I stay in Calgary, Alberta, I am going to drink again and I'm going to die. Step 2 is just about believing Philadelphia exists. I don't need to know anything about it. I don't need to know the highways. I don't need to know about the Liberty Bell or any of that. All I need to do is not gaslight you about your experience and be like, I know you think Philadelphia works for you, but it's just not a place. Like, oh, bless your heart, you think it's a place. No, I just need to believe that you're there. And now, don't worry, I'm wrapping up. We're talking step 3. It says, on the other hand, and strange as this may seem to those who do not understand, once a psychic change has occurred, once this spiritual experience happens, the very same person who seemed doomed to be hopeless, who had so many problems he despaired of ever solving them, suddenly finds himself easily able to control his desire for alcohol, the obsession of the mind. This is lifted from us. It's gone. It is gone, and that happens as the result of the spiritual awakening. And it says the only effort necessary, which is a little rude to ask me to put in some effort, but alrighty then, but the only effort necessary is that being required to follow a few simple rules. And I don't like rules, so what are we talking about? The 12 steps. The 12 steps is outlined in the book Alcoholics Anonymous. That is the course of action that gets me off the cycle from that place of hopelessness in step 1, where I will drink again, to that place of hope, where we are free. And we get to be a part of the world, and it's far more than not drinking. And so the third step, knowing that the imminency of a relapse is barreling down on me, and believing that maybe you guys in Philadelphia are not lying about your experience, the third step is a decision to go there. It's a decision to work these 12 steps as a way of life, like my life depends on it, because it does. That is what's asked of me. Now, I can make this decision, but if I don't take the action, I got to get my passport, I got to get a plane ticket, I got to get to the airport, I got to get through security, take off my shoes and all that, get to my gate, get on, no worries, I'm landing the plane, don't worry. And only when I land in Philadelphia am I there. And so the third step is simply a decision to go there. To go to Philadelphia, to take the course of action, the 12 steps, to produce a spiritual awakening. And so if you're here today and you're not sure about that decision, and you're not sure about this whole thing, what I want you to know is that there are people today that will help you have this experience. It's available to each and every one of us. Thank you for the opportunity to share.